What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we're going to look at 5 players that Manchester City could sign this summer. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. Remember, going to be doing daily Manchester City transfer updates from June 3rd, so next Monday, for you guys to stay up to date with here on YouTube every single day with all the latest Manchester City transfer news this summer. So if you haven't already, do subscribe. It is free. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Do leave a thumbs up. 200 likes is the aim. Do get your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you want Manchester City to sign this summer? And finally, I would say a big thank you to today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by Football Prizes, where you guys can spin to win. For £3.95 per ticket, you can enter to be in with a chance to spin the wheel to potentially win some great prizes, including signed shirts from Pep Guardiola, from Joško Gvardiol and Rico Lewis, as well as 17 instant prizes. Do go and check them out. Links and details there in the description. Remember, anyone that does interact with Football Prizes using my link in the description does help to support the future content created here on my channel. I'd say a big thank you to Football Prizes for sponsoring this video. So we're going to crack on with this video. We're going to speak about the first player, no particular order. So we're going to start off first by speaking about Bruno Guimaraes. Now, this is the most obvious transfer out there, central midfielder from Newcastle. Newcastle have missed out on European football for next season. Manchester City can offer European football to Bruno Guimaraes. They can offer Champions League football to him as well. So it makes it a more appealing prospect for him to potentially join Manchester City. Now, Newcastle to sell are going to demand a big fee. The number being put out there is between 80 to 100 million pounds. So the question has to be, how willing would Newcastle be to negotiate with Manchester City on that price? What would Man City be prepared to pay for Bruno Guimaraes? We've been linked with Lucas Paquetá, was willing to spend between 70 to 80 million pounds to make that transfer happen. From last summer, when was getting linked with Declan Rice, Manchester City were prepared to go up to 90 million pounds. So a fee between 70 and 90 million pounds is there for a central midfielder if Manchester City want to make it happen. It's all about, do Manchester City consider a big fee for Bruno Guimaraes value for money? How much do they want him? How's he going to fit into the team? But I'd be very surprised this summer if Manchester City certainly don't test the water when it comes to Bruno Guimaraes, the 26-year-old Brazilian central midfielder, Premier League proven, versatile, and offers something a little bit different to Manchester City's midfield. So we'll see if they end up making a move. My expectation is that at some point in the window, City may well do so. Now, another player we're getting linked with, and player number 2 that we could sign this summer, is Pedro Neto over at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, he's a 24-year-old Portuguese winger, and should Bernardo Silva leave Manchester City, I think that Pedro Neto would be a good option. Apparently available for over £60 million. He's had a good season with Wolverhampton Wanderers. My only concern that I have when it comes to Pedro Neto is his injuries. So if Manchester City are confident that they can get enough playing time out of him and he can prove his fitness, and Manchester City can get the very best out of Pedro Neto, then it may be worthwhile Manchester City taking that risk, taking that punt to bring in a high quality wide player. But there are other good Premier League options that Manchester City could go for as well. Interest is also high in Pedro Neto, and that only helps Wolves when it comes to negotiations. So we'll see if City do choose to make a move. Now, another player that we've been getting linked with over the last 12 months or so is Eberechi over at Crystal Palace. Now, he was linked last summer. He's getting linked again with Manchester City this summer. He's the soon-to-be 26-year-old winger who can also play in attacking midfield, and again, a good option here for Manchester City. Now, he has the advantage of being homegrown, and of course, with Man City wanting to meet Premier League quota and European quotas when it comes to having top upcoming homegrown talent in their squad, then Eberechi would put a big green tick next to his name. Now, I'm unsure on price and how much he would cost, but as I said with Pedro Neto, I think a lot depends here on what Manchester City decide to do when it comes to Jack Grealish, but in particular Bernardo Silva, because he's got that release clause active this summer for £50 million. So if we're letting Bernardo silver league for £50 million. He's a high-quality player. We're probably going to need to add an attacking midfielder and potentially a wide player as well. So having a player that can do both, like SA, could be a good option for City to go down. We'll see if they do choose to make a move for Eze from Crystal Palace. And speaking of Crystal Palace, takes us on to player number 4, takes us on to Michael Olise, the 22-year-old winger from France. Interest very high in the Palace star. Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, all thought to be interested. Palace, they know that that's the case, that there's lots of interest in Olise, which means that if they are going to sell him, they're going to be looking for a little bidding war to get going. And if that does happen, Man City notoriously are going to put in probably their first and final offer and say if it's not good enough, we're going to walk away from the situation. We've seen similar transfers happen in the past where City have walked away. Declan Rice last summer. We've seen it before with Cucurella as well when he was playing for Brighton before he signed for Chelsea. City don't normally get involved in such a thing. So if Olise wants to sign for Manchester City, he has to indicate to everybody that it's Man City that he's interested in going to, in Manchester City alone. If that doesn't happen, I don't think this transfer would happen, but I do think it's a good option for Man City to certainly consider. Now, moving on to the final transfer, the dream as far as I'm concerned is Jamal Musiala, the 21-year-old German midfielder, apparently contemplating his future at Bayern Munich, which has alerted Manchester City to his availability. Now, last summer, we lost İlkay Gündoğan. We've got Kevin De Bruyne turning 33 years old as well. Having someone who can pivot, who can play deep, who can get forward and play behind the striker and support Phil Foden and potentially rotate with Phil Foden, we need that option as far as I'm concerned in our squad. We've got Matheus Nunes that can do it. We've seen Jack Grealish doing it a little bit, but we've got players here who are capable of covering multiple positions, and I just think we look very short when it comes to central midfielders. And what I'm getting at here with Gundogan leaving and De Bruyne's age is we want a central midfield to be built upon a new spine right at the heart of Manchester City's system and Manchester City's lineup as well. And having Phil Foden there is a brilliant option. It does need a partner, and I do think that Musiala would be a brilliant option. Now, we were interested in signing Jude Bellingham last summer. That would have been a brilliant player with him and Phil Foden to build a midfield and build the team around these players. We didn't ultimately get Jude Bellingham, and to me, if you're looking for a contingency plan B, Musiala is a brilliant plan B. And to me, we did everything we could to try and bring Bellingham in. Ultimately, he wanted to go to Real Madrid. I think if we put in the same amount of effort to Jamal Musiala, and he is interested in leaving Bayern Munich, it is a potential transfer that could get done. Now, because of his age, because of his importance to Bayern Munich, it just isn't going to be a cheap player, and there has been rumours going around that he's going to sign a new deal at Bayern Munich, and if that does happen, that's the end of the transfer. But if it doesn't happen and City make their interest known, I would be making a move if I was in charge at Manchester City. To me, Jamal Musiala isn't only a player that comes into our starting 11, he improves our starting 11, he improves our squad. He is a player of high calibre, of high quality, a great age at 21 years old as well. You're going to get 10, 15 years out of him. It's investment, it's value for money, it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. Now, there are many players that are being linked with Manchester City, and there are many, many, many more being linked with City as well. I decided to look at 5, so I've narrowed it down to just them 5. There's a whole host of players out there that City are going to get linked with this summer. Who they're going to make a move for? Well, that's the drama. That's what we love about the transfer window, and I, of course, will keep you guys up to date every single step of the way with all the latest Manchester City transfer news this summer on YouTube. So if you haven't already, do subscribe. Social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorship for any videos or any general business inquiries. Do leave a thumbs up as well. 200 likes is the aim. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you want Manchester City to sign this summer? Also, don't forget to check out Football Prizes, today's video sponsor. They've got their latest football prize involving Manchester City out where you can win to spin that wheel to potentially win 17 instant prizes, as well as signed shirts from Joško Gvardiol, from Rico Lewis and Pep Guardiola. Do go and check them out. Links and details, they are in the description. And I will be back again tomorrow with another list of 5 players that City will be looking at. You'll have noticed I've not spoken about goalkeepers in this video. That has been purposefully done because that's going to be tomorrow's video. I'm going to look at 5 goalkeepers because I don't think we're going to keep hold of both Ederson and Ortega Moreno this summer, which means we're going to need a new goalkeeper. It's a separate video. I'll be back with that again tomorrow to look at, so I'll see you then. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.